What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday afternoon to all of you. Huge NCAA basketball card. We're going to be joined in 8 minutes by Maxwell Smart, going over all of his looks. He's already tweeted out a bunch of bets, a bunch of first half bets as well. And we're going to quickly go over NHL and NBA. And I am concerned by the total in the Rockets game. I wanted to take the under. I see Trotwam and other cappers I respect on the over. I don't want to force plays. I know that Max is going to get us on a ton of college basketball action. That is probably enough for me. We're coming off a big day. 2-0 in NBA, 2-1 in NHL, 3-1 in NCAA basketball. Would have been a 4-0 perfect sweep had Campbell not lost that plus 4.5 in overtime. So we're looking good and no need to rush things. But we got to rush NBA and NHL because Max joining us shortly. JR in the house. Does anyone like the Stars game to go under? The market certainly does. The market certainly pushed that. I mean, that opened at a decent line for the under, and then it got hammered. Let's go to spreads and totals right now at Sports Review and answer JR right off the top of the show. This under in Dallas opened up, I'm on 5 dimes now, not Pinnacle because of for Max, but opened up of under 5.5 minus 115. Now under 5.5 minus 126, minus 130 at Bookmaker, and I almost never take those. I almost never take the minus 130s ever. I don't know if I have all season. I did a few times last season. Shout out to all the cappers in chat. We got Deer Slayer, Ski, Moses, Saucedo, Anthony Masternardi. Anthony Masternardi cashed a beauty ticket yesterday. Little parlay NBA action. Shout out to our guy, Anthony Masternardi. Canadian capper in the house. Canadian capper ready to go. George Cruz, take it easy. Walla Walla Do, Southpaw like LSU plus 4. Omar J. Legend. George Cruz in the house. Stephen Dollery, Ron Lawson, I'll get you next week. Says anybody on Toledo? I tell you what, I'm going to be cheering on Toledo like crazy because our Matt Randall cashes a giant 7-game parlay ticket, and that's the one left sitting there. Jermone Sags, ready to go. We got a great group here. Let's get after it. We got Reese, Try Sawyer. Cashed a big ticket yesterday. It was a great day for us yesterday. D. Boston, Jeff Billings. How do you like my Sharks first period and full game last night? I made $350 on those 2 plays. I love it. I cashed about $270 myself on that situation there. Lillian Pumpernickel, Canascat, polo this, polo that. Polo this, polo that. You weren't there when we awarded you the Vegas Gun Award for Excellence in Capping. There's Nut Flush Allen. No request. K. Khan says, I'm on the full game Wizards under. I almost pulled the trigger on the Wizards. Okay, let's get to work. There's Yu Chang Yu, Rex in college football. Beach Boss. Jeff Billings on Rockets first half and full game. Wow. Rockets first half and full game, that's big. Okay, Joey Avang, Mohamed Joma, Marquette and Toledo. Jonathan Succi, 2 plays per day. Geghard A, John Schaff, Nate the Great, Sean Mundy. Okay, let's get to work quickly. So, Senators, Devils, simply put, I'm going to go back to the Pinnacle opening lines, but, okay, you guys know. Look, I want to take the Senators first period against good hockey teams. Maybe by the end of the year, the Devils will be a good hockey team. I thought they were going to be before the year started. Look, I know the Devils are back off of a road trip. That's the spot we want to fade the Devils. The Senators lost 8-2. That's the spot we want to bet on the Senators. But I'm not going to. If you want me to bet on the Senators, I don't want to do it over 60 minutes. I know a ton of people on the Senators. I respect that. Not me. Let's take a look at what market movement there's been. I'm not going to take the Devils either. I'm just going to stay off shitty teams. Devils open up at minus 175. Now they're minus 183. This under 6.5 open to minus 110. Now minus 111. I just want nothing to do with them. Not applicable on the Ottawa money line. I get it. I'm not on it. Leafs, Islanders. This big market move towards the Leafs. Johnny Tavares coming back to Nassau. I wanted to take the under, but I looked at all the scores, and there was great talk in the chat that those scores are skewed because of how bad Hutchinson was, but their road games have been going higher. Mohamed Joma says Islanders on the ice, stylistically a nightmare matchup for the Leafs. I'm not going to get in the way of this market move. I'm going to stay off of it, and I'm going to take that L for lean away from it. Ron Christie liking the under. I get it. Then we have Capitals at Flyers, and this is the under I want bad. I took the under 6.5. The over keeps getting smashed at some books and it drops at other books. I could have got a better line if I had waited. Look, I know Alain Vigneault. He's my favorite coach of the last 15 years. I know him well. He's not, and I repeat, not going to get in a shootout with the Capitals. Not going to get in a shootout with the Capitals. Michael Irvelina says, what do you think about the Suns Devils first period over 1.5? I would, if I got a free play, I would bet it. Reese took the under as well. Not applicable on the Capitals. There's Red Girl in the house. Gekard A says, tailing your NHL under. I've been very good with NHL unders. I've had a very good season with my unders so far this year. And this is going against the market. If you take it now, you get a big plus line. So I'm on it. I got it. Okay, so Stars, Flames. We have Stars, Flames. I know a lot of people are on the under. I get it. The Stars are a tricky team to cap because if Ben and Seguin were rolling, this team would be the best team in the Western Conference. They are on a 7-1-1 run. Do I want to fade the Flames at home? I don't think so. Yeah, Arthur, me, that hurt. It hurt. There's Anthony Chalmers in the house. Okay, let's stay focused, everybody. Blackhawks, Golden Knights. Corey Crawford in net for the Blackhawks makes me want to take the Golden Knights, but I don't think the Golden Knights are that good of a hockey team. Blackhawks are starting to score. No, it says unders. Yes, I am on the under 6.5. That's my only play in NHL. Ronnie Christie says Stars do great against the Flames. All right, so then in NBA, I jumped on the Magic plus 125 as soon as that came available. Now the Magic are 2.5-point favorites. Let's see what Bet365 is hanging. This will be one of my biggest smashes of the year. 65 cents I beat the line by. God, that feels good. I know it doesn't equate to victories, but that feels good. Grizzlies, Hornets. This is like the Senators, Devils. I don't want to bet on bad basketball teams. I don't trust edges with bad basketball teams. Then Wizards, Celtics. I find the Wizards appealing here. But that's nuts. Why would I? Well, not necessarily nuts, but why would I get in the way of the Celtics? Down to 7. Now, when I wanted it, I could have gotten 8.5. The Wizards are a bad basketball team. These Celtics are hungry after what happened last year. So with all that said, I stayed off of it. Jeff Billings says, Jimmy, I took the Sharks to win the division. I bet 250 on it. What do you think? What are the odds, Jeff? Because to be honest with you, I was thinking about doing that last night. I'd love to hear what the odds are. Digital kumquat now, as we missed you. Anthony Thomas says, how about the Vegas game over? I don't know how much I trust Las Vegas' offense right now. And 6.5, I don't want to ask for 7 goals. I don't trust the hockey team right now. Wizards, Celtics, lean towards the Wizards. Certainly not at 7. I didn't take them at 8.5. The one move I came very close to making was this under in the Clippers-Rockets game. You know, I saw Trotwam, amongst others, take the over. It's gone up to 235 at Pinnacle. Look, I don't need... I'm 19-10 on the season. I do not need to get in the way of market moves, and I know that I'm going to be adding college basketball with Max, who's going to be on the show in a second. Max is going to give me the action I so desperately need. I don't have to force it with my own spots here. Spurs, Timberwolves. This game is so tricky. I can't wait to watch it. It's a fishy line off of it. Warriors, Lakers. I've not heard news that Anthony Davis is not in the lineup. Let's find out right now. I've not heard any of that. Let's go right now. Do we have any Anthony Davis news? No, we have no news coming out of the Lakers. So, Hassan Whiteside probably is going to play. Rodney Hood going to play. Those of you on the Raptors, this is a beat-up team on the 5th game of a 5-game road trip on the West Coast. Teddy Covers likes the Raptors. The Blazers are playing bad basketball, but if I had a free play, I would be on the Blazers. Chris Brady in the house. Good. I pulled the trigger on the Cardinals plus 11. That's the only bet I've made so far. All right, so Paco Healy, what's your best bet in NHL? Paco, I'm only on one bet, but it gives you a plus line under 6.5. Flyers, Capitals. Oh, and he is out. Davis is out, says everybody. Okay. Davis is out. Okay, we got to get to college basketball, and that's why the line dropped to 8. Wow, I still want nothing to do with these Warriors. Wow, okay, so that said, one play in NHL, one play in NBA. I gave it out this morning, and I have not changed it. Claudio S., my one play, gives you a plus line. You can get a plus 110 to take the under 6.5. Yenny Toon says, I feel like the Raptors are tired. The West Coast games back-to-back. Beat the Lakers, played Clippers hard. I think too much traveling when a few key players are out. Give me the Blazers. I would be on the Blazers, but I'm not going to. All right, is that plus 2,200, Jeff? Are you serious? I'm going to look into it. I'm going to write a note right here. Jeff, I think it's a great bet. The Knights are not that good. The Oilers are not that good. Who's going to win the division? The Flames? God. Okay. Sharks, futures. I think I'm going to jump with you tonight. Thank you very much, Jeff. All right. So, we hammered this card in the morning, and I'm not going to do any reaching. Deerslayer Ski says it best. He says Maximus time. And that is what it is. Maximus time. Rafa, my man, can we roll Mad Max, Maxwell Smart, the great Maximus's intro?
It wasn't until 2018 that the diamond in the rough went from hooligan to king of the world.
The guy couldn't play for shit, dog. He was awful. But can he cap? Guess he can.
Here he is, joining our show each and every afternoon. Maxwell Smart in the house. How you doing today, my man?
I'm doing all right. Can't complain too much. Watched a little bit of James Madison before the show, and I'm ready to get on with this card tonight. It's a nice sized card, not as daunting as yesterday. I actually laid 43 total bets yesterday. It was not my finest moment, and I think that I have a lot more edges, a lot more advantages if I'm betting some sides. So I'm going to be hitting some sides tonight. I already put out a bunch of plays on Twitter that's going to count towards the official show record, and hopefully I can do some good. I'll put it that way.
That's a good way to put it. I did run with you to great success yesterday. I came very close to sweeping the board. I'm just copying and pasting the plays that you already put out, and here they are, and here they are. Okay, perfect. I had great success telling you yesterday, and I believe that will continue. We've had ups and downs as the early season is here, a lot of volatility. Rafa, can we put up Max's overall record in plays given out on betting with the bag? Official plays given out on betting with the bag. 47 and 43. Max is not happy. He wants more. All right, Max's Oregon best bet cashed for us late yesterday. It was one of the bets that I made. Rafa, can we put up Max's best bets? There we go. All right, let's get Christopher Comentini, Sharks plus 2,000 to win the West. I don't know if I want them necessarily to win the West. I think the division will be easier than that. Okay, so we have Robbie Tagaloa coming in with his action. Going to copy and paste that. We also have Anthony Mastronardi going for the Vegas Gun Award for capping excellence. Kyle Kuzma to get a double-double tonight, plus 800. Kuzma props would be off the chain. I'd like that look, okay? All right, let's get right after it. Max, I'm going to go over all of the games. Avatar says, what's his Twitter? I will put it in the link, in the chat right now. So let's get to work right now. Max in the house. We have a bunch of plays that he's already given out. But Max, first and foremost, there's a game that's popping off in 15 minutes, and I would like to hear what you think of this spot. LSU, VCU. VCU opening up at minus 2.5, now 3.5's on the board. This total opening up at 142, now 141.5 and 140.5. Big game for LSU, and you got us on futures with them. 3.5 point dogs on the road here at Virginia Commonwealth. How do you see this banging out?
All right, so obviously this LSU game's one of the marquee matchups of the night, so I'm not gravitating to betting it. But from my perspective and how I've watched this LSU team, they're going to dominate with their front court depth. Emmett Williams, Trenton Wofford, these are going to be their major offensive contributors this year. And we're going to just need to see Javonte Smart and Skylar Mays make jump shots when the opportunity comes in for Javonte Smart to get to the free throw line. That's how they're going to be successful. They have to have a balanced offense, and if Javonte Smart is running the point, then he has to be not always a score-first point guard, but he has to recognize those times. They're definitely going to be missing the loss of Marlon Taylor tonight, so Charles Manning is going to probably jump into the starting lineup. I look for my favorite lineup that LSU puts out is the lineup with Javonte Smart, Emmett Williams, Darius Days, and Trenton Wofford all playing together. I think that with that kind of size, you're going to be able to slow down VCU. You're going to be able to stop Deronte Jenkins from really getting out into the open and using his 6-foot body to really get in the paint, get some unnecessary fouls, and get to the free throw line. Obviously, you got to worry about how VCU plays after the North Texas game. I think that it was a look-ahead spot, even though it's early in the season. Most people will say that's not the case. When you got LSU on the freaking horizon and you know that it's going to make a difference when it comes to tournament time, well, I think that you start to look ahead even as an 18 to 20-year-old college player. So if I'm playing this game, I'm playing the game under because with VCU's pressure, I think that they'll be able to force some turnovers. I think that LSU is strong enough on defense that they're not going to just fall back in transition and allow them to run in and score easy layups. So I look for these guys to score on each other in the first half, but I look for it to be really slowed down in the second half. So I'm looking at the under 142-ish, 141 if you can get it. And if you can give me 3.5 on LSU, I would be taking that, but not for the official show record keeping purposes.
I can give you 3.5. I can also give you 142.5. Do you want that for official show purposes?
Yeah, actually, I will take that on under 142.5.
That is available at Bookmaker right now as we speak. Under 142.5, a point higher than anywhere else, 2 points higher than Pinnacle. All right, we got action from Max right now, and I'm popping it in right now. Okay, we have under. Oh, sorry, let me go LSU under 142.5. And that is what juice is associated with that. That's minus 110. Okay, there we go. Max is on the board with a play that's not off of his Twitter. Questions, yes. Let's hold off on the questions right now. Let's hold off on the questions right now because I all want them when we're at the perfect spot here because I want to go over what looks Max is already on. But I am copying and pasting the questions that I see, and I will ask him about that spot. Now, Max, just before we go into all the looks that you're on, I did want to touch on Villanova, Ohio State. This total opened up at 131. Bookmaker's taking it all the way down to 127. Bookmaker is 3.5 points lower than Pinnacle right now. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. There's Viper and B in the house. So, in saying that, this the total all over the map, but Villanova opened as a 3-point dog, and they're now a pick'em. I'm going to move over to 5 dimes. What do you think about this spot? 10th ranked Villanova for 16th ranked Ohio State.
Well, it's going to be really interesting to see how Villanova uses their length all throughout the lineup against Ohio State. This is a team that's going to be playing a lot of Jermaine Samuels at the point guard position, and I think that at 6'7", it's going to provide It's going to provide a hindrance, and I think that they're going to be able to take advantage of that and score the basketball from that position specifically. When I look at this Villanova team, I think that they definitely have a different scoring mentality, trying to score closer to the bucket, using their size to their advantage with Jeremiah Robinson Earl, the freshman, and Sadiq Bey to an extent. But I see this team being able to get out in transition. I see them being able to make shots inside and out. So if something isn't working with Ohio State inside, I think that it's very easy to kick it out. And once those 3 start range for Villanova, no matter who's on the roster, you know that's bad news. So I'm on the over in this game. I've already bet it. I got 126.5 earlier on this afternoon. And I think that Ohio State's actually going to win this game. I think that a lot of people want to follow that line movement from 3 to pick them at some places right now. But when I look at Ohio State, I see a very balanced offensive team. I see multiple different pieces that can step up based on the advantageous matchups that they have versus a particular opponent. So if you were putting a gun to my head, I'd be taking Ohio State, but I missed I think that with the line movement, I have to disregard it, but I also have to respect it enough to stay off of it. So I'm just sticking with the over on this game.
I get it. Robbie Tagaloa liking Nova moneyline lean under, but that's a Virginia type total. And Pinnacle has moved this total up to 132. 5 points higher than Bookmaker right now. I don't see Bookmaker's colors changing here. shocked that bookmaker would be 5 points below Pinnacle. It just feels like that might be a stale line. Wow, Jeff Billings. Oh, yeah, still there. Jeff Billings just jumped on Seahawks to win the division at plus 250. Wow, that's an exciting bet, and a bet that makes sense. Okay, let's keep rolling now. So we are going to go. I wanted to ask about those two games. Now let's start rolling through Max's plays. We are going to start with Bryant University here. Bryant University. St. Peter's opening up. Oh, I still haven't switched over to 5 times. So this is Pinnacle opening. Opening up at minus 2.5. Is still at 2.5 at Pinnacle. A 2-cent move towards St. Peter's. This total opened up at 136, now up to 138. Max, Bryant University, St. Peter's. You tweeted out Bryant plus 2.5. Tell us why you're on it.
Yeah, I like the fact that Ikena Ndugba is back in the lineup. I've said it 3 times on 3 different shows. I think that he's just a solid point guard, could run a faster pace offense, even though his scoring is very down. He's 1 for 10 from the 3-point line. That's not going to cut it, but I do expect him to step up sooner or later. Obviously, without Sebastian Towns, that is definitely a worrisome fact to me, but I think that Adam Grant is ready to really take off. He's already made 13 3-pointers already, shooting 47% from the field, and he hit 72% from the free throw line. So a guy who's going to drive to the bucket, have the ball in his hands at key opportunities is a player that I want to get down with. And I think that Bryant here is undervalued. I think that the books have so many teams that they have to stay up to date on that they're overlooking these little guys. And I will say this, St. Peter's definitely has an interesting story. I think that they have no coach for the first 3 games of the season. Secondly, they haven't played a game. So I haven't seen what they can do. I have to respect what the advanced analytics have said about this team and where they put them on the metric scale. And I have to just take Bryant with the points. And if I have to eat a loss on it, I got to eat a loss on it.
Taking Bryant with the points, just helping with my guy here, my man Viper with my only NHL play. Okay, next up on the card is Lafayette. You have tripled up on Lafayette. This is the first triple up of the season. Max is on first half plus 3 at minus 110. He's on the first half money line at plus 167 and the full game plus 5.5. Rotation number 343, 344. Lafayette, Princeton. Princeton opening up, or we should talk about Lafayette opening up a plus 5.5. Now plus 6.5 at Pinnacle, plus 5.5 still at Bookmaker. 6 is everywhere else. Max, Lafayette, Princeton.
Yeah, this Lafayette team definitely owes me one. A missed free throw literally cost them the game against St. Francis, New York. And this team has played very admirably without Alex Petrie. Miles Cherry is definitely one of the most efficient, hot shooting players in the league right now, in the conference and in the nation. I think that he's got to get some recognition, and I think that he's going to be able to step up. I look for Lucas Garrett. I look for some of the other depth pieces to step up today. And I think that this is a good matchup for them against a team that is going to want to play a little slower. They are going to want to try and make them really play in the half court, and I think that Lafayette can get out and run if they can up the tempo and control the tempo. I think that they're going to be able to get something done for us tonight. I personally like them in the first half the most, just because the first 2 halves that they played quite well. They've won both halves. The percentages are good, and they seem to be getting comfortable on the court right as the game starts. And obviously with a lot of these home teams playing their first or second game at home, maybe it takes them a little bit to get going. And I think that at 3 or 3.5 on the first half, I got 3. I was happy with it. I think that Lafayette had, what was the number that I wrote down? A +5 advantage based on my metrics in the first half. So you want to give me 3, I would take it. I took it, and I took them on the money line in the first half plus 167. I think that they have a good chance to win the game outright, but I wasn't willing to go on the money line full game.
Very interesting, Max's first triple up of the season. And wow, Alex Guerrero, loving your sharp concentration. Orlando -2. That's perfect. I got him plus 125. And then Washington, I can't wait to watch that Flyers game tonight. And then Toronto minus 105. And that's the reason why I stayed off the Islanders. All right, we have another double up here from our Maxwell Smart. That's Loyola, Maryland up against ODU. Loyola, Maryland, Max is on plus 5.5 first half at minus 105 and took them full game plus 10. Loyola, Maryland. Right now, they're 9.5s across the board. This total's gone up from 137 to 139.5 at 5 dimes, although it's 141.5 everywhere else. I'm going to stop using Bookmaker. I think we're not getting the updates from Bookmaker, so I'm going to not talk about Bookmaker at this point. I think these are stale lines. Maxie, tell us why you're backing Loyola, Maryland.
Yeah, so obviously with Loyola, Maryland, this is a team that has been good to me over the last couple of years. Andrew Kostecka is a fantastic 6'4" senior small forward, really good on-ball defender, really is all about picking your pocket, and if he can do without fouling, I think there's a good opportunity for us to cover this 10 points and this 5.5 in the first half. By my numbers, I had Loyola Maryland as having a 3-point advantage in the first half, and getting 5.5. Well, there's my 2.5 point edge right there. I also am interested to see how this team plays and how they're able to play without fouling. Obviously, without Santi Aldama, the highly touted recruit, being out for the year with a knee injury, it puts a lot more pressure on that bench and on that depth. Guys like Luke Johnson and Marquise Reading, who are going to see maybe like 5 minutes or something a game. But if there's foul trouble, that could press them into action. I think that this team's going to react a lot better from playing Marquette. I think that when you play Marquette and then you play a team like Old Dominion, it's completely different sides of the spectrum. And I think that having to deal with that offensive firepower and that explosive tempo from Marquette is going to be beneficial tonight against Old Dominion, who will play slow in the first half and I believe will speed it up in the second. I look for them to get it done. I don't like laying 10 points or more with a team that lost 35 points from their starting lineup last year and their 2 best scoring guards. So this is not the same team that made the NCAA tournament, and I'm taking the points with Loyola Maryland, hoping that they don't get smoked by more than 10.
Our guy, Jesse Nemeth, says, hey, Jim, when you get a chance, ask Max about his thoughts on LIU Brooklyn plus 8.5. Not only are we going to get his thoughts, but you should know that Max is on LIU Brooklyn plus 9.5 full game. Break it down for me, break it down for Jesse, break it down for the low baggers. Why?
Yeah, so this is going to be I'm on this game I'm on this game 3 ways. I'm on the over, first off. I think that points are going to get scored. LIU, when they get a rebound, they push it in transition, and if they're hitting the 3-point shot, they will score a shitload of points. Secondly, LIU plus 9.5 is what I got. I got them plus what did I get them? I got them plus 5.5 on the first half. I think that this LIU team, as long as Ty Flowers isn't going 1 for 11 from 3-point range, and Rayshawn Clark is not getting the foul trouble, limiting him to under 25 minutes in the game, they can play with pretty much any of these mid-major conferences, especially teams from the A-10. Obviously, without Justin Keir and Ian Boyd, you're missing 2 serious scorers that would be very beneficial to this lineup, but you force this lineup to really be balanced and try and seek out other guys to step up. Well, Javon Green, AJ Wilson, and Jamal Hartwell have done so. Jamal Hartwell, basically, he's a reincarnation of Otis Livingston, but I think with this pace, and with the firepower that LIU has, I think that's going to be really hard-pressed for George Mason to do what they did to Longwood, which was start fast, score fast, and really efficiently from the field. I think LIU has the length, I think they have the depth, and I think they have the pace to play with George Mason with this new foundation on offense, and I think that they will stay within the points. I could even see them winning the game, but I didn't bet that, so we'll move on from that.
We are not going to move on until I tail you guys on LIU. So my first action on this card is LIU plus 8.5 and minus 107. That is available at Pinnacle. LIU plus 8.5 minus 107. It's minus 110 everywhere else. And I'm on the board. I knew I didn't need to reach another sports because Max was going to give me what I needed. Okay, LIU, there we go. We're going to go over Max's full game looks first, and then we're going to go over his first half looks next. Some of them he's doubled up, and some of them he hasn't. We're going to go to a very interesting bet here, and that is FDU Farley Dickinson going up against Fordham. Opening up at +5, now +4s. And again, at this point, I'm not going to use Bookmaker because they're hanging in a 5.5. And I'm certain these are stale lines from Bookmaker. Okay, so we're going to take out Bookmaker from the equation. Max is on FDU +5 and FDU money line +180 to win out. Max, why are you backing Farley Dickinson?
Oh, so this FDU team is obviously a team that was warm to my heart and warm to my bankroll last year. And I think that against certain types of opponents, they have value. Obviously against DePaul, against DePaul, in Charlie Moore's first game running the point, Paul Reed had to shake off some rust. They played really nicely. They played toe-to-toe with DePaul, and they were able to cover 14 points. I think tonight you're going to see and highlight how good Jaheel Jenkins is against a tier of opponent that more fits their team roster. Caleb Bishop, he's going to be a fantastic player, 6'8" senior. The guy is just doing some good work when it comes to shooting the basketball. When you got Caleb Bishop going 6 for 8 from 3-point range, that's going to be good for this offense. We've seen them struggle with consistency last year. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. And I think that this is a team in Fordham where if you can stop Antoine Portley, who else is really going to score and beat you? You definitely have to be aware of 6'9" junior Chuba Aboms. He's a big man in the middle, definitely a good rim protector, can bang out on the glass. But as far as a scoring threat, he really doesn't scare me. What he does do is he takes the ball in the post, and he's the one that gets the ball to a shot maker. So in this game, in this matchup, as long as there isn't foul trouble and FDU's depth is tested, I think that they go in and win this game.
Wow, go in and win this game. Should I jump on Farley Dickinson? I think I am going to. Oh, and it looks like we've had... Okay, we're back. Yes, we're back. Bookmakers now completely caught up with us. Okay, that's great. So we can start using it now. And they weren't at 5.5. They're at 4 right now. They're at 4. Reese says, who did you just take in college basketball? I'm jumping on LIU with them, and I'm very close to jumping on Farley Dickinson right now. And that is where our Prince of the City got his master's. Fairly ridiculous is what he calls them. Okay, let's keep rolling right now, and I am copying and pasting the questions that you guys have. Next up is another double up, and we're talking about Colgate here. Colgate, Syracuse. Syracuse opening up at -10.5. 9's across the... Whoa, Heritage just moved to 8.5. Pinnacle just moved to 8. This total opened up at 136.5, now at 137. Max is on Colgate. +10.5 full game, +6 first half. Max, why are you backing Colgate against Syracuse?
Okay, well, Colgate, first off, let's talk about them. Nelly Cummings, he is the new point guard / shooting guard to play alongside Jordan Burns, and I'm just highly impressed with this guy. He definitely has been making his free throws. He's been making his field goals. This is a guy that I think can be a real nice scoring piece, take pressure off Jordan Burns, allow him to play off the ball a little bit, and I think that this is a great team if they don't get into foul trouble. They do have depth issues. The only guy that you really have coming off the bench that I think is providing any kind of significant impact is Jack Ferguson. But we have to remember, Jack Ferguson also likes to miss free throws and stop his team from winning games or going into overtime. So fuck you, Jack Ferguson. But beyond that, I think that this Colgate team is going to have advantages against Syracuse. Syracuse is going to be weak when it comes to their zone on the perimeter. Buddy Boeheim and Joseph Girard are not the kind of perimeter defenders that we're used to seeing in the Syracuse zone. I think that they're going to be a liability when they're on the court together. I think that with the size that Colgate has, they can go to the top of the circle to that free throw line and bust that zone up. And Ivanauskis, the Northwestern transfer, I shouldn't even call him a Northwestern transfer, he's a Colgate hero. I think that he's going to feast today. So I think Colgate wins this game. I don't know why the number is that big to start. I didn't understand why it opened at 11. I jumped on it at 10.5. I was like, well, Colgate owes me one. They didn't come through for me on the spread versus Clemson. They cashed on the over, but let's go.
Interesting. And what do you think about what Russell Gordy says about Syracuse angry after putting up 34 in that first game?
I actually recognize that, and I agree with that. I think that Syracuse is always going to have a better offensive performance after you play Virginia, and I think that goes along with a lot of situations. You have to value the level of opponent, but this is a tournament quality team, and if this was a team like UNC Asheville or Appalachian State, then yes, I could see Syracuse coming out with fury and just drilling these guys by 20. They very easily could. It's a 50-50 call, you know. You may be right, I may be right. But from my capping, from my line creation, there's value on Colgate, and I had no choice but to play it.
And Jansen saying Syracuse can't score. I mean, we saw that in action. All right, next up, Vermont. We had Vermont a couple days ago at -4. They won by 2, and we didn't cash. They're up against Boston University. They opened up at -12. Now they're -11.5. Max, you are on Vermont at -11. Tell us more about why.
I'm scared for this bet tonight. I'll put it like this. Vermont's been shooting terrible. Through 2 games, 15% from the three-point line, 34% from the field goal line, 66% from the free throw line, but they're getting there 21 to 26 times and making 21. So our problem with Vermont is they're too three-point oriented. Steph Smith's in a slump. They're not reacting or adjusting to the fact that they do not have Ernie Duncan anymore, and I think that's a big difference. Also, I've been disappointed with the fact that Alabama transfer Daniel Giddens has not been utilized in the offense or in the scheme. He's playing about 15, 16 minutes. He's not contributing the way that I thought he was going to. So it's really going to be about Vermont getting onto their home court tonight, playing a team that is definitely trying to work out who is going to be getting the most shot attempts. Walter White coming back from injury for Boston University definitely is a nice boost for them after losing Tyler Scanlon to Belmont. But this Vermont team, it's really going to come down to how Ben Shanugu shoots the basketball. He's getting a lot more opportunities, getting a lot more minutes, but 1 for 5 from 3-point, 5 for 12 from field goal range is not going to do it. He's got to make free throws too at 4 for 8. So as long as Vermont starts fast and doesn't go into one of these defensive naps that I've seen them go into, especially in the game against Bucknell in the second half, I think that they cover this game. I think that they are going to benefit from being at home. I think they're going to benefit from being against a team that plays a little bit less aggressive defense. And I was content going on that -11, thinking and believing that Vermont's going to snap out of this shooting slump that they're in.
Oh, interesting. And I've been on Vermont once. Jesse Nemeth's been on them twice now. It says 11 points is a lot. Max going back to the well, and I get why he's going back to the well. All right, let's move up to his last double up, and that's South Florida. Max is on South Florida. First half -8.5 at -120, and full game -15. Is that 15.5? Yeah, 15.5. IUPUI coming into South Florida, opening up as 15-point favorite. South Florida is now 16.5 at some books, 16 at bookmaker. Max, why are you so bullish on South Florida?
Well, it's not that I'm bullish on South Florida. Obviously, with Alexis Yetna being gone for the season, you lose a huge scoring, offensive rebounding, and just overall leadership piece. The guy just inspires guys to play better and more energetic around you. But it's more a fate of this IUPUI team. I just don't believe in Marcus Burke. I don't believe in Jalen Minette. Grant Weatherford's a nice player, but I think that these are guys that need volume shots and don't shoot high volume percentages. So they're just not a team that I'm trusting right now. I've watched a couple games. I watched the Butler game. I got a good feel for a good little eye test for this team. And I'm just going to be playing on the fact that USF is playing a team that they can dominate with size. They can score the basketball. They can be aggressive on ball handlers. And with David Collins, he's averaging maybe close to 4 steals a game through the first couple games. I look for that to continue. I look for them to rebound from the loss against Boston College, who I believe they would have beat if Alexis Yetton was in the lineup. Obviously, he's going to put a lot more pressure on Michael Durr, but we haven't seen the early season offensive production that we thought we were going to from him. So I'm basing this purely on David Collins, LaQuincy Rideau, and the fact that this is an IUPUI team that will get up a lot of shots, but they won't necessarily make a good enough enough of them to cover this spread tonight. So give me South Florida. I think that with a plus 17 first half advantage, I think that they come out strong and they end this game early.
Interesting. Big spread. Question from the chat from our guy Chili Dog Dooley, and I have been copying and pasting your questions, so know that I have been copying and pasting everybody's questions. We're going to get to them soon. But Chili Dog Dooley in the house, wondering what you think of the total in this South Florida game here. Opening up at 137, all the way down to 133.5 at Pinnacle, 134 and almost all the other books, but 134.5 at Intertops. What do you think of trying to get under this?
Yeah, I got the under 137. I've already bet that. I believe that USF is going to play very suffocating. I don't think that IUPUI is the type of team that's going to be able to put up 70 points on them. I don't think that they're going to get 60. So I'm making this total bet pretty much on the fact that I believe that with South Florida's free throw issues, if it gets to the point at the end of the game where they're getting fouled, I do believe that they will miss a good portion of those free throws and help us stay under the number. That's pretty much how I'm looking at it.
I like it. All right, now we're going to go into a bunch of first half plays that Max is on. First is St. Francis, Pennsylvania. They full game, they open up at 2.5. Let's move over to first half here at sportsbookreview.com, SBR odds page, the best in the business. Let's grab it right now. St. Francis. First half, they opened at -1. Now they're -1.5, Max. Up against Morgan State. Why are you on St. Francis?
Yeah, this is a St. Francis team that I think that has some very good offensive depth, even though they lost pieces last year. I think that against an opponent like Morgan State, who I feel is very low in terms of my actual rankings, I'd have to look at it. I think that I had them somewhere in the close to 300 range. So that doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. And I think that with Keith Braxton and Isaiah Blackman still in the fold for St. Francis, I think this is the perfect opportunity for them to get a win. Don't forget, they've been good to your ATS bettors, but they've lost outright the first 2 games of the season. And this is a team that's going to challenge in the NEC for the title. I think that with a player like Keith Braxton, you get a highly efficient player from inside the three-point arc. Obviously, the free throw shooting is definitely needs an improvement at 46%. That's just not acceptable in my mind. But Isaiah Blackman will have the ball, the 6'1" point guard, and I think that he's going to be able to be the difference maker tonight. Morgan State has Troy Baxter coming in as a grad transfer. I don't think that he's going to be a difference maker for Morgan State. And I think that with Morgan State, this is a team that is just being mislined. Stanley Davis, Sherwin Devonish, these are not guys that I have a lot of faith in. First off, they're not good three-point shooters. They're below average shooters, 28% from the field, 33% combined. They do make free throws, but it's a matter of just being disciplined on defense and not putting these guys on the line where you know that they can score like that. So, St. Francis's play, I like them first half. I like them full game.
But you only took them first half for us at the on the show.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I have 2 parlays with St. Francis money line, and I basically took 2 sides of the same coin and then combined it with St. Francis. It's not a plus even bet that I would suggest you make every day. But with St. Francis being hungry and being such a low number, I was able to get -150. The odds made sense for me. So.
And you took it, understandably so. Let's move on to your next first half action. That's rotation number 355, 356, UNC Asheville up against Wake Forest. And you got UNC Asheville at +8. They're now at +7.5 or +7. Why are you backing UNC Asheville against Wake here?
pretty much what I've seen with the eye test from this UNC Asheville team. They've played tough, they played hard, and I've enjoyed the fight that they've given these Power Fives. They're not shying away from tough opponents, and I think that when you get Wake Forest, you get an opponent that they can actually beat. Don't forget, they were up on Georgetown by, I believe, 12 to 14 points, and obviously succumbed in the second half. But if you can get out to that kind of lead in the first half, that inspires confidence with me to take you on the first half against a team like Wake. So I got them +8, and I had them having a +12 advantage over Wake Forest when it comes to first half metrics.
Wow. UNC Asheville +8 first half. And at +7.5, would you still pull the trigger?
Yeah, I would, but for you, if I'm managing your bankroll, no, you've missed the 8, so I would not want you to lose on a hook. And if we remember what happened in that goddamn Campbell game last night,
No doubt.
oh, that aggravates me.
No doubt. Make America Great Again joining us. He's also on Colgate. You know, Deion Davis and Russell Gordy on the other side with Syracuse was enough for me to hold off, but seeing Make America Great Again on him with you makes me maybe make the move. Claudio S., I'm only on one play, and I beat the line move by 60 cents. I got Magic +125 this morning on the money line. I don't know if I wouldn't take him a -140, but a 2.5 they can get to. Okay, let's keep rolling along. We have McNeese State. Rotation number 357, 358 up against Wisconsin. You took McNeese State first half at +13. Right now, they're 13.5s on the board. Why are you backing McNeese State first half?
This was just a play mainly against Wisconsin, going all out and going on an offensive slaughter of McNeese State. This is a team that definitely has good offensive length possession time, which I think will be beneficial against Wisconsin, and holding the ball for longer helps you freaking hopefully not lose by 14 points in this first half. I'm looking for Shamarcus Kennedy to be more than outstanding. I look for him to use the 6'8", 220 body to my benefit. He's a very efficient player from the field. AJ Lawson's definitely emerged in the backcourt, and I think that when you got a usage percentage of -550, I think that's a player that I can rely on to score me buckets at the end of the half when we're this close to either cashing or losing. So at this big number, I think that McNeese State is definitely up to the challenge. Obviously, losing 2 tough games to Louisiana and Western Michigan hurts, but I think that that's prepared them for this Wisconsin game, and I see them hanging around. I see them being able to possibly even cover full game. I didn't bet it, but my advantage in the first half made this McNeese State +13 a must bet.
Let's go into Max's last first half play. Then we'll see if he wants to make any additions. I have a bunch of questions to ask, and we do have some marquee games we want to talk about. Let's move over to your last first half play, and that is Stephen F. Austin playing Niagara. You're on Stephen F. Austin first half at -5.5. This opened at 5 dimes at -4 and quickly went to -7. You got in at 5.5. If you want 6.5 at Pinnacle, you have to pay -132. They do not want you to bet it. Why are you on Stephen F. Austin?
Well, his name is Kevon Harris. He is one of the most electric freaking individual scoring guards in this freaking league. I think at 6'6", he can take you inside, he can take you outside. He's 7 for 9, 5 for 10 from the three-point line. Obviously, the usage is going to be high for him because he is the most dependable piece. I really like some of the lineups that the Stephen Austin team puts on the floor. I'm a big fan of Samza Hart. I think that the 6'7" freshman is going to be a mainstay, and he's really going to battle Calvin Solomon for minutes. I expect him to make an impact tonight. I think that he definitely is going to have some advantage on the perimeter. And you have to remember, with the Stephen F. Austin team, they play pretty much positionless basketball. 1 through 4 is usually interchangeable, with John Como playing the point guard for the most part. I look for Stephen F. Austin to keep on smacking people in the mouth. and I think that they're going to do it in the first half tonight. I was worried when I saw the line move up from 7.5 to 11.5. I couldn't take it full game, but with this Niagara team, I'm not sold on Greg Paulus being able to implement what he wants to adjust to the offense and defense just yet. And I think that there's still a couple games where we're going to see Niagara not show up, and I think tonight is one of them. So Stephen F. Austin, first half, I like it.
My fault. You do have one more play that I skipped over, so I'm just going to copy and paste Alex Guerrero's Nebraska Omaha over. We're going to talk about these other spots. We still have some time with Max here. Your other first half is Hofstra going up against Bucknell. Bucknell opening up at -1.5. They're still there. There are ones on the board. Why are you on Hofstra first half?
Yeah, this is pretty much just like a first half number. I think that Hofstra is going to be undervalued. Obviously, losing to San Jose State doesn't get you many friends when it comes to the rankings. But I think that this team still has a lot of offensive potential. I think that they have a good ability to score the basketball in a variety of ways. And with three contributing offensive guards, I think that they're going to be able to give Bucknell a problem tonight. Like Bucknell, everybody expects them just to reload and just keep on doing what they're doing. But I think that they're going to run into some trouble tonight with like guys like Eli Pemberton and Tariq Coburn. You know, they bring size, they bring athleticism. The three-point shot isn't dropping for Hofstra at the percentage that they would like it to be, but I do think that it improves versus the type of defense that they're going to get against Bucknell. Obviously, with Bruce Moore and he's a solid front court piece, but I don't see him really being the difference maker like Nate Sestina was. I don't see him really demanding the ball. I think that from the three-point line, he has a serious weakness, and the closer to the bucket he can score, the better. So if you can put a body on him and you can really keep him out of the paint, you can really limit him and shut him down. Obviously, Jimmy Sotos is your point guard, and he feels like he's been there for multiple years, but he's not a high percentage efficiency guard. He's going to run a stable point guard. He's not going to turn the ball over galore, but in the end, I think Hofstra is able to go in, surprise Bucknell, and I think that they're able to dominate them better and more efficiently than Vermont did, because Vermont dominated them at certain points in the game, but they allowed Bucknell to go on runs, and I don't think Hofstra will be doing that coming off such a crazy loss to San Jose State last week.
Exciting stuff. Okay, Max, we have questions rolling in. But first, before we get to these questions, is there anything that you want to add to your card that you didn't tweet out earlier today?
So there are a couple games I want to add my card. I'll just go over them quickly with you. It's the San Diego State game, the Providence game, the Omaha game, the New Mexico game, Fullerton, St. Louis, Purdue, NC State, Southern Utah. These are the games. They're at the bottom of the board. I want to attack some of the late games for some of the guys that are on the West Coast. And I would actually like to start with Providence.
Let's do it. Providence. Let's do it. Let me find it here on the card. One of the late games that Max wants to attack. Providence, Northwestern. Providence opening up at -4 now. 5's across. Oh, that's first half. Sorry, let me get the full game. Here we go. Okay, so Providence opening up at -8.5 now. 9.5's across the board. This total opened up at 130.5. It's gone all the way up to 134.5 or 135 max. Providence, Northwestern.
Yeah, this Northwestern team obviously coming off such an embarrassing loss to Merrimack as an 18-point favorite at home. I think that with guys like Anthony Gaines and Pat Spencer, you just don't have the pieces that are going to be able to step up and in against a very deep, talented, ball-handling team in Providence with Alpha Diallo, David Duke, Luwani Pipkins. I want to see Luwani Pipkins do a little better from the three-point line. He had a really bad shooting game the other night. I think that the UMass transfer is going to be the X factor for this team. I look for him to have a good game, and then I look for Providence to cover the number. I'm also on the over. I got 134. I think both spots are good plays, and I want to make the over official. So what can I get as far as the number on that right now?
I can get you over 134 at -105 at Heritage.
Perfect. I'll take it.
Okay, Providence over 134 at -105 at Heritage. By the way, I tailed two of Max's plays, two full game plays. LIU +8.5 at -107, FDU +4 at minus 110. Max, start firing away. What's the next spot you want to hammer?
All right, so this Omaha game, this is a play especially for my sports keg homie, Aunt L. I'm taking Omaha plus 6.5. I'm looking for JT Gibson to carry on his 26-point performance from the Bethune-Cookman game. Zach Thornhill with a 19-point career game. I just hope that they can repeat it. You know, they struggled on the road on their first game, but all they really got to do, in my mind, is don't put Colorado State on the free throw line. This is a team that's going to shoot 30% from the three-point line. They're going to be inefficient for the most part from the field. So as long as you don't unnecessarily foul them and put Nico Cavarcho and Chris Martin amongst others on the line, I think that you're going to be okay. I think that Omaha definitely has to avoid foul trouble because their lack of depth can hinder them. But you know what? Colorado State has the same problem. So I'm looking to take the points with the road dog, and there is a good chance Omaha wins this game because they're a smooth shooting team, but losing Zach Jackson and Mitch Hahn just doesn't inspire me enough to jump on the money line. But I think there's a good chance they win tonight. So give me Omaha. And
Nebraska, Omaha at plus 6.5 and minus 105. Max, what's next?
San Diego State is going up against Grand Canyon. Both teams are shooting 56% from the free throw line. Both defend the three so far through 2 games under 30%. What's going to happen with San Diego State? Are they going to start strong, or are they going to have to freaking really power on? That's what I'm struggling with right now. How I want to do this, how I want to attack it, I want to attack San Diego State in the first half. You can look up for a number while I finish my breakdown, but the fact is, San Diego State plays great field goal defense at 33%. I think that with their new addition drivers in Malachi Flynn and KJ Fagan from Santa Clara, I think that they're going to be able to feast on this Grand Canyon team that is very physical on ball defense, but I think that they also foul a lot, and that was their problem against Illinois. When you have Carlos Johnson and Alessandro Lever both on the bench at key times with foul trouble and not enough bench depth with no Jalen Fisher or Oscar Frater till second semester, I think that's going to cause a lot of problems. I've also bet San Diego State for the full game, but I'm not going to give that as a play for the show. I do have enough confidence in the first half. I think that San Diego State will lock down on defense, really frustrate Grand Canyon, and I think that if you can get either between 5 and 7 points in the first half, sign me the fuck up.
You can get 6.5, minus 6.5, and minus 115 at Intertops.
I'll take that.
San Diego State minus 6.5, minus 115 at Intertops. What's next, Maxie?
New Mexico. So New Mexico is going to be playing tonight. Why don't you look up the line while I just go to my show note that I wrote about this.
Sure.
Okay, so obviously New Mexico, they got some very interesting new pieces that they're trying to work into this Paul Weir zone defense. I think that you're going to see New Mexico really be less reliant on the three-point shot and really utilize their driving ability from their backcourt and the size that they have up front with Carlton Bragg and Vance Jackson to really just hurt people, hit people in the mouth, put themselves on the free throw line, and really challenge Green Bay to a physical but highly efficient offensive game. I think that New Mexico obviously has to control the amount of turnovers that they're making, because if you're going to give up the ball 15 times, you're going to put Green Bay on the line, you're going to put them in transition, they're going to get easy buckets that they wouldn't necessarily have gotten. Obviously, this New Mexico team has shown in the first 2 games that they're not concerned with being three-point oriented. They want to drive, they want to penetrate, they want to get to the line. I'm fine with that. It's just about balance. They have waves of scoring. They have multiple lineups that they can throw at you. I think that J.J. Caldwell playing in the starting lineup and playing 25 minutes is a fantastic change of pace, because then you bring in Zane Martin off the bench, and he's just a completely different kind of player. Obviously, we need him to shoot a little better from the three-point range, but between him, Jaquan Lyle, Corey Manigault, even Carlton Bragg these are very efficient perimeter players, and I don't think that they'll miss the three-point shot that much in this matchup. I think that they're going to frustrate guys like Cody Schwartz. I think that Cameron Hankerson is not ready to be the alpha, and I think that this team is just going to continue to miss Sandy Cohen Jr. So I'm on New Mexico, minus 14, full game, please.
New Mexico, minus 14. We can't give that to you. There's only 14.5s on the board. Minus 14.5, minus 105 at Heritage and 5 dimes. Is that all right?
Hold on one sec. Maybe I could see the pinnacle and see what the juice is on buying the freaking buying the half point. I know that you guys don't like that, but if it's like under 120, I'm sort of tempted. Okay, fuck it. No.
So you want them at 14.5?
Hold on, Jim. Let me just think about this for 10 seconds.
Okay, no worries. Think about that for 10 seconds. Wondering if Max is going to take New Mexico with the hook added on. It opened at minus 14 at 5 dimes. It's now at 14.5 at 5 dimes. It opened at minus 14 at minus 110 at 5 dimes. It's 14.5 minus 105 right now.
Yeah, give me the 14.5. Let's do it.
14.5 minus 105 for New Mexico, Max. What's next on your card? Max?
Yeah.
What's next on your
Sorry,
card
I think
after?
we spoke over each other.
No worries. What's next on your card after New Mexico?
Okay, so Cal State Fullerton against Wyoming. Wyoming obviously opened at 2. They're up to maybe 3.5 right now. Wyoming can play defense. Fullerton can't. Pretty simple. But Fullerton can get on the glass. They are mixing our fellow Canadian, Jackson Rowe. I don't know what the deal with him is, but it's just going to put a lot more pressure on Brandon Kamaga, the high point transfer, to score the basketball and be efficient off the bench because he's playing that 6-man role. It also puts a lot of pressure on Wayne Arnold. This is a team that has to hit the 3-point much better at a higher percentage, and they got to bang on the glass. Limit the careless mistakes and start better. You can't fall behind by 24 points or 14 points in the first half of your Cal State Fullerton because you don't have the roster to come back. Luckily enough, they're playing one of the lowest scoring teams in the nation in Wyoming. Wyoming just cannot make a bucket when they need it. So both these teams are under 60% from the free throw line. Doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. I think that both teams are bad at three-point shooting. One at 18% through a couple games, one at 25% through a couple games. I don't see that really improving tonight, but I do see Cal Fullerton being able to get a win because they have guards that can actually score the ball, where if Hunter Maldonado isn't doing it, I've seen Jake Hendricks in a slump, and I've watched 2 games from Wyoming. I watched the Idaho State game. I watched the South Carolina game. It's ugly basketball, and I got to take the dog in this. So give me Cal State Fullerton +3 or +3.5 if you can give it to me.
I can give you a +3. Noli No says this is a dead under. What do you think?
Yeah, I bet the under 127.5. I respect a lot of guys that are on this under. I know 4 or 5 guys that I personally respect and look to when I'm having trouble on a game, and they're on the under. They got a shittier number than me, and at 127.5, I feel very good. 127. I feel very good about this under, and I have to see Wyoming be able to score 60 points before I start laying overs in any type of number with this team.
Cal State Fullerton +3 at -105. We're going to get into your questions very quickly. Max is just adding his final plays on the card, and there's a few more to go, and he is talking about the Marquette-Purdue game at some point soon, so keep watching. We're also going to get Max's best bet soon. Max, what's after Cal State Fullerton +3 -105?
All right, so Southern Utah +12 against BYU. Basically, I'm taking Southern Utah because they can take advantage of the fact that BYU's missing Yoli Childs, who's out for 9 games with a suspension. But Southern Utah's got to start strong. They got to stay out of foul trouble. They got to get good shots for guys like Harrison Butler and Dre Murrin. This is a team that has depth and potentially could have 5 or 6 double-digit scores. So we got to get them into good positions to get good shots. Make your free throws. Make a higher three-point percentage because you can't shoot 17% from the three-point line like you did versus Nebraska and go to double overtime and win. BYU can hit perimeter shots. Don't mess with them like that. Connor Toulson, and Tyler Haws, definitely significant scoring pieces. I look for BYU to play an all-around game and win this game. I just think that it may be a point or two too much. So give me Dwayne Morgan, give me Southern Utah, and let's go. +12. Oh, yeah.
I can't give you +12, Max. It's down to 11.5. 11.5. Bookmakers down to 11.
Sucks.
What do you think of 11.5 and -105?
Yeah, I'll take it for the show.
All right, Southern Utah.
Just know that I bet it at 12.
Well, Southern Utah plus 11.5 and minus 105. What's next, Max?
Okay, so FIU, NC State. Everybody is thinking that this is the same FIU team from last year. The odds makers have thought that. The number has reflected that this afternoon, and I'm going to get on the under 165.5 in this FIU NC State game. First off, with Andrews and Antonio Day, you don't have Brian Beard anymore. He's not going to push the pace. He's not going to get back on defense. He's not going to create steals and fast break opportunities to get points in 10 seconds or less off the shot clock. This is a team that shoots 60% from the free throw line, 26% from the three-point line so far this season, and they're playing decent three-point defense at 35%, which will come into handy versus NC State and guys like against CJ Bryce, Braxton Beverly, Markel Johnson, who's back. And of course, don't forget about Pat Andre, the Lehigh transfer coming off the bench, who at 6'8" can obviously give you some size, some height, which I'm sorely lacking, and he gives you an illicit three-point shot that he hits over 40%. But I think that NC State's going to smack FIU in the mouth with a dildo tonight. I think that they're going to get to the line. I think that they're going to slow it down. And I don't think that we're going to get 4 points a minute in this game. So I'm on the under. I lean towards NC State covering the spread, but I did not bet it.
We can give you 167. 167 up from 161.5. Actually, 5 dimes at 166.5. So it's gone up 5 points at 5 dimes. But I can give you under 167 at minus 110 at Pinnacle.
Yep, I'll take that.
Sweet. What's next on your card?
St. Louis. That's the game that I want to go to next. First off, St. Louis. They played some really ball hawk defense through the first 2 games of the season. Obviously, they can smack you in the mouth. Like, you got to be careful with this team. But the fact is, some things never change about certain programs until they cycle through players. And what hasn't changed about St. Louis is they don't like to make free throws. 56% through 2 games. Same shit, different year, I wrote down on my notes. And I think that that's going to be a problem for them full game. I think that Eastern Washington comes in with some high expectations. A really impressive second half versus Seattle last week where Jacob Davison just took the fuck over. You got some nice pieces in Mason Peatling who can really bang against Hassan French tonight. But I look for St. Louis to come out strong in the first half. I look for them to weaken as the game goes. And I look for Eastern Washington to make adjustments at halftime and be able to cover the spread tonight. As far as guys stepping up for St. Louis, I want you guys all to pay attention to Demarius Jacobs. Excuse me. This is a guy that is going to be very, very potent from the three-point line. And so far, so is the St. Louis team. 37% from the three-point line, 47% from the field goal from the field so far through 2 games. I don't think that's going to change much. Based on the makeup of this team and the lack of depth, I think that guys like Fred Thatch, Gibson Jimerson, these guys are going to have to step the hell up, and they got a 3-point shot to back with it. So I'm looking at getting on St. Louis first half, and I'm looking to get on Eastern Washington full game.
Wow. Do you want to make those official plays?
St. Louis first half, I want to make an official play, please.
Here we go. St. Louis first half. I agree, Glenn Elliott, man. I love seeing your CFL looks as well. I agree. Carlson's healthy and playing out of his mind right now. Okay, here we go. St. Louis first half. Oh, God, sorry. I thought I moved over to the first half and my computer's going slowly. Here we go. First half. St. Louis. Come on, get there for me. And here we go. St. Louis first half. You can get -5 and -106.
-5, -106?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, that line went up?
Yes, it opened up -4 at -115. It's up a full point.
All right, yeah, give me the -5. I think that St. Louis comes out explosive and could finish this half close to 10 points up.
St. Louis, first half, -5 and -106, I believe. Let me double check that. All right, that's right. Okay, what's next? And there's 5.5s and a bunch of other books. Actually, it just moved down to -105. If we had waited a cent, or you would have got a cent better, but we got -106. What's next on your card, Max?
Okay, so maybe we want to jump into questions right now because the last game that I wanted to talk about was going to be the play of the day.
And that involved Purdue and Marquette.
You know it, sir.
All right, we don't have a lot of time here. We don't have a lot of time, but questions have been coming in fast and furious from the very beginning. Wow. Okay, so looking at this, let's go. We already talked about the Bucknell game for Anthony Chalmers. Good. Christopher Comentini, what do you think about Tennessee Martin +1? Can you ask him about Tennessee Martin +1? And let's be as tight as possible with these spots. I'm trying to find this rotation number for you, and I can't at this point. Let me just keep rolling down. There we go. 629, 630. Tennessee Martin. I just have the first half up. First half, they're plus a half point. So it is a 1 point spread in this game. What do you think about this spot for Tennessee Martin tonight going up against Western Illinois?
Yeah, so obviously I'm a big fan of Kobe Webster. I've said it often, but Brandon Gilbeck being out of the lineup presents a lot of matchup problems, especially against Craig Randall. I think that Craig Randall, combination of him, Quentin Dove, they're going to be up to the task tonight. I think that they win the game. It's not a bet for me as of yet, but I am on the full game under 153.5.
My main man, Lizo, wanting to know about Grambling State +3 tonight. They opened at +1. Now they're at +2 or 2.5. This is also a spot that Matt Randall's on. What do you think? And this is the taint play of the day, right, from Matt Randall. Let me just double check that this is Matt Randall's taint play of the day. Let me get there right now. And here we go. Grambling State +1 is Matt Randall's taint play of the day. What do you think that from my guy, Lizo?
Oh, absolutely. So first off, let's make this short and sweet. Grambling is definitely a tournament team to come out of their conference. They got 3 solid pieces that they can score the basketball with, and they don't have turnover issues or free throw issues the way that Southeast Louisiana does. I cannot take Southeast Louisiana. I don't understand this line. I cannot take them knowing that they turn the ball over like they do. They don't make free throws, and Vaughn Julian and Brandon Gonzalez are not stepping up to be the offensive pieces that replaced Moses Greenwood and Marlon Vale last year. I'm looking to bet against them. And I think that Grambling wins the game outright. So I don't understand the line move, but I would take the +3.
Flip Money says, any thoughts on Texas Tech -23.5, now -24 or 24.5 at Houston Baptist?
Yeah, there's no reason to believe that Texas Tech doesn't smack Houston Baptist in the mouth tonight. First off, with Houston Baptist, you got Jarrell Gates, you got Ian DeBow. These guys will run up and down the floor, try and make threes. And what's going to frustrate them? Texas Tech and Coach Chris Beard's defense. I think that obviously working TJ Clark, Chris Clark, TJ Holyfield into the lineup is going to take a little bit of time. But with Jameis Ramsey, I'm just impressed with this point guard. And I think that they smack somebody in the mouth tonight, and I think that they cover those points. So
Zachary Winland says, can you ask Max about Texas Tech first half or full game? What would you prefer?
Texas Tech first half full game? I would prefer full game. Give them 40 minutes instead of 20 minutes to do something.
I agree with that take. Okay, next up, we have a question on this Kansas State spot. Monmouth, Kansas State, 627, 628 rotation number. Kansas State opening up at -18.5, now down to -17. And Reese wants to know what you think about Kansas State at -17.
Yeah, I like Kansas State at the number. It's not going to make my card tonight. I do like the fact that Kansas State and Carter Diarra has really stepped the hell up. It's really assuming the scoring role of this team, but I think they're still a work in progress. And I believe that it will cash. It's just not something that I'm going to be putting my money on tonight, especially with the fact that it's gone in a reverse line movement. I saw it at 18.5 early in the morning. I saw it at 16.5. I see it bouncing up to 17. So it's not a game that I'm looking to get on in such a large card.
Jeff Billings is on Ohio State full game. He's wondering if he should double up and take them first half as well.
I think that you're in a good position to get Ohio State full game. I'm not sure if it's a spot that I would double up on. This is a marquee matchup, boys. You guys know how I feel about those. I'm breaking them down and pretty much laying a bet on them just for you guys and for your entertainment. So as far as I'm concerned, Ohio State full game is probably the safer bet to me. But you guys are all great cappers. You guys know what you're doing. So take my information with a grain of salt. Yeah, that's it.
Scott is asking about Ball State or Illinois. Ball State or Illinois, rotation number 621, 622. Ball State opening up at -2, now 4s and 4.5s on the board.
Yeah, if there's no Tarkus Ferguson and Marcus Audy, it's hard for me to get behind Illinois Chicago. I don't think Godwin Bowen is the type of guy that can score 45 points on his own. Obviously, he can freaking prove me wrong tonight. But yeah, I'm on the other side of that. So
All right, Max, we've come to the point where we need a graphic for this, Rafa. We need a graphic for Max's best bet play of the day. Max's best bet, Max's play the day. Maxwell Smart, we're excited because we know it's coming in. Purdue Marquette, take it away.
well, we know how I feel about guys that can go 40, 40, and 90. Field goal, 3-point, free throw. Well, we got one of those guys in this game tonight. His goddamn name is Mr. Marcus Howard. I think that Marcus obviously is going to take a lot of shots. It's going to be very dependent on him running the offense, scoring the basketball, and helping other guys get involved. Obviously, with Kobe McEwen, you have a great scoring guard, efficient guy, set up in the corner, wait for you to drive and kick to him. And Utah State definitely wishes that they had this guy back. I think that they're going to I don't think they're going to miss Chase Johnson as much because I think that Matt Arms isn't your prototypical center, even though he's very tall. I think that Theo John and Ed Morrow, as long as they can stay out of foul trouble, they have the physicality and the strength to not get back down, not to lose position, be able to box out on the boards. Because I'll tell you, Aaron Wheeler, he's coming for his tonight. You know, Eric Hunter, they want some. They see this game as a game that they can win. And with the addition of Jahad Proctor, they're a tough-looking team, especially if they're bringing Proctor off the bench. I think Marquette has to really focus on crashing the offensive glass, and they gotta stop Purdue from hitting the three-point shot. If they could get to the line more than 12 times like they did versus Texas, Marquette could be in trouble. So Marquette has to not foul, play good on-ball defense, rotate, help a guy out, even if it means leaving another guy open for a jump shot. Purdue's not the type of offensive efficient shooting team that you got to worry about that. Noel Eastern, he's going to miss jump shots open all the time. So as far as I'm concerned, when you got a dynamic, game-changing scorer who can put up 45 to 50 points in a game, and this is a marquee game, a nationally televised game, let's go Marquette. Let's go Golden Eagles. Give me the -1.5, Jim.
You can get -1 at -105. If that's the case, do you want me to see what they are on the money line?
I prefer that if that's the case.
Let's do it right now. Marquette, Purdue. Marquette on the money line. Oh, wow. It's not, -115 is the best I give you on. Would you like money line -115 or -1 at -105?
No, -1. I don't think this is a 1-point game.
-1 at -105. Marquette, -1 at -105. I'm going to tail the best bet. I've done it every time so far. It doesn't follow kind of a simple system where I'm watching market moves, but I don't care. I'm going to jump on it as well. Marquette -1 at -105. There you have it, Maxie. We got to bounce. We went long today. Incredible work. I'm going to quickly go over all of Max's plays. First half plays first. Hofstra first half +1.5. Lafayette first half +3 in money line. Loyola Maryland +5.5 first half. St. Francis Pennsylvania first half -1.5. UNC Asheville first half +8. McNeese State first half +13. Colgate +6. South Florida first half -8.5. And Stephen F. Austin first half -5.5. Full game, Bryant +2.5, Lafayette +5.5, Loyola Maryland +10, LIU +9.5, FDU +5, and the money line at +180, Colgate +10.5, Vermont -11, USF -15.5 additions. LSU under 142.5 -110. Providence over 134 -105. Nebraska Omaha +6.5 -105. San Diego State -6.5 -115. New Mexico -14.5 -105. Cal State Fullerton +3 -105. Southern Utah +11.5 -105. FIU NC State under 167 to -110. St. Louis first half -5 -106. Marquette -1 and -105. I tailed LIU +8.5 -107. FDU +4 -110 and Marquette -1 and -105. I'm on the under 6.5 in Philadelphia, Washington. And I like it. I like the plus line total here. I like going against the public here. I'm on it. Then I got Magic plus 125. Those are my only plays in NBA and NHL. Max, incredible job. Follow this guy at Maxwell Smart. At Maxwell Smart 420. Follow him on Twitter. And then you get his looks early. And great job, Max. Thank you so much for all your hard work. Can't wait to work with you again tomorrow.
Well, it's always a pleasure being here with you, Jim. It's the highlight of my day, and obviously here with the low baggers, all I could want to do is produce winners. So tail me, fade me, just make money off my information. That's all I care about, boys. Let's have a great night.
Maxie, you do a ton of live betting, and way more than me. Sherigan Amateur Astro is saying, what is the best book for live betting? What's the best book that you prefer for live betting?
I prefer 5 Dimes. I prefer Bet365. Bet365 definitely you pay a little bit more juice, but I think that it's definitely a good system for either mobile or on your desktop. So that's how I feel about that.
Thank you, Max. All right, Max, can you do me the favor of introducing Freddie Fortune?
Absolutely, guys. I bring to you the goods, the funny man, the man that has glass over his eyes. His name is Freddie, his last name is Fortune, and he's coming for you.
Freddie, we got to move very fast here. I've got to make a couple bets here,
Okay.
and I only have 8 minutes. So, you've got some
Breadsticks, yeah.
breadsticks.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, why are you so?
Oh God!
Hurry.
I'm gonna bounce. Is that cool? Can you close up the show?
No, I can't.
Why?
Why? I can give my play now.
Okay. Why did you
Okay.
bring in breadsticks to eat on the show?
Because I'm fucking hungry. This is the first time that I have had money in like 3 weeks now.
Nice, from dagging sheep.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Breadsticks. That's gonna make you real healthy. All right.
Okay, Romanian handball CS
Oh,
Bayer.
Romanian handball.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Why did you decide to go back to Romanian handball?
Because my life is incomplete.
Without it.
My life is a complete mess, and
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with
Well,
Larry.
you shave sheep anus all weekend. Not gonna help.
I think Larry's pissed off at me.
Oh, really?
Because, yeah, he's back at heroin.
Yeah, I think he's back doing drugs.
Yeah, he's back at the creek. He thinks he's still recording those awful movies.
Yeah, I miss those movies.
I don't.
Do you have the graphics for Larry's trilogy that he was shooting down by the creek, Rafa? Oh, I wish I forgot about these. We do have them? No, too far. Okay, we got to get them back. I miss those movies. Okay, I've got to go. No, God, I'll punch that out of your face.
This is Romanian handball
Sure.
CS Bayer Mar, -5.5 at -118 at Bet365.
Little Romanian handball action for you. Big Ragu needs pickleball plays. I've never seen them available. But,
Pickleball?
Yeah. Pickleball?
I don't think. I think no one caps that sport.
I play it.
You play it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I play
With
it.
a pickle?
I don't think you understand what the sport is.
No.
Oh, all right. Great stuff.
No, please
oh
don't.
God, Jesus, I'm so close to like just one punching you here. Okay. Yes, the Rogue, the Rogue trilogy.
Yeah.
Paco, you remember?
Gentle Rogue.
Gentle Rogue. Oh yeah. Oh God, you finger
Please,
in
please,
that. No,
don't leave me here.
if you finger that fucking
Okay,
sauce
I
over-
won't. You can do leche
All right,
if
fine.
you want.
Can you do a leche for us?
It's been a long time since.
I gotta go. I gotta make bets.
Okay.
Quick.
Leche and los bookmaker!
Oh God.
This
Jesus,
is
that's
great.
awful. That's awful.